Hello, YouTube. I am back. As I promised you all that I will be coming back later to discuss what's going on in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump, what he has against black people, even our brown people. But mainly we're going to discuss what Donald Trump has against black people, God chosen ones. That's what we're talking about today, this evening, tonight. There's a lot that needs to be covered because I feel that right now, life under Trump, blacks have been targeted more than ever. Donald Trump is trying to flip us back, all the way back to slavery. And we're not going there. What he's doing in Washington, D.C., he should be ashamed of himself. He would do anything to distract from the Epstein files. But what you will not do on my watch, Donald Trump, is harass my black people. I showed y'all a video just Friday evening of Donald Trump having the FBI, the DEA, go into black neighborhoods harassing black people. While these black guys were sitting out on their porch, they were being harassed. They were not smoking any of that skunk or anything like that. But because of Donald Trump has sicked them out on black people, yes, that's what he has done. They were making up things that was not happening. They were not smoking that good. The guy said, I got a cigarette. He showed him it was a cigarette. What's happening in urban cities, inner cities, is blacks are being targeted by Donald J. Trump. He started with the brown people. He couldn't get his rocks off from that. So now he's after the black people, trying to get his rocks off. We got a lot to cover because right now what's going on with Nicole Collier? Yes, they have her kidnapped, hostage. The white MAGA Republican Party has that lady hostage right now, and they will not release her. They have a problem with highly educated black women. That is what's happening in America of today. Hello, King Allen. Hello, Jamie. Hello, King LaSwan. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming back to my live. I am serious. Yes. And my live is shut down. I thought it may be my charge. It's not my phone charge. I don't know what it is. It could be MAGA messing with my lives again because y'all know how they harass me. And when your channel is getting reported a lot, it is just shut down. But I'm not afraid, so I came back because we're going to discuss Donald Trump's racism against black people. That's what we are talking about right now. Because what's happening in D.C., it is to disintegrate the black race. It is to arrest the black man to try to weaken the strong black woman. Because Donald Trump feels if he get rid of the black educated man, then the black woman is going to fold. Well, honey, let me tell you about my black women. We refuse to fold. We will not fold, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is operating in the Jim Crow era with his Texas Republicans as well. One moment, please. Give me just a moment. I'm going to ask y'all a question. This is a serious, valuable question because to find value in what I'm talking about, you really got to be listening. How can blacks be 1/4 a human when we were the first people on God's green earth? Blacks were not considered human beings throughout racism, and even now, our vote counts less than a white folks' vote. When we vote, it's not called as count as a whole vote. How can blacks be 1/4 human, as you white folks like to say, when we were the first people on God's green earth? Because you're not in the Bible. When the Bible reads it reads of black people, hair of wool, bronze, copper skin. That's not a white person. And Egyptians were not white. Egypt is in Africa. How can blacks be 1/4 human when we were the first people on God's earth, not white man's earth? You know the mediocre white man. The mediocrity is real amongst white thugs. There's white thugs in the MAGA Republican Party. There's white thugs in the MAGA Republican Party. Think about it. Central Park, the Central 5, Donald Trump. What did he do to those young black guys? It's 4 black guys and 1 Latina, which black, he looked like me. He might well say black because they had African in them. Donald Trump put out an ad in the newspaper to put a hit on them pretty much. That's why I call him the Oval Office thug that refused to wash his bottom. Then we're going to go back some. Donald Trump's father wouldn't even rent to black people. And he was sued for that. So we take it back to Washington, D.C. right now. How he has the DEA, the FBI. Right now, the National Guard is getting ready to go there. For what, Dunny? Washington, D.C. crime rate is down 30%. But it's all about trying to break the black race to bring us to where Donald Trump feel our place should be. Donald Trump, your place should be, you should be behind bars right now, you slimy MFer. Your fat, overweight, lanky, limp dick should be behind bars right now. That's what Donald Trump needs to be. Yes, the man is getting his pussy blowed out because the front part don't work. Should be behind bars. You are on the Epstein files list. You had the MAGA Republican FBI to redact your name from Epstein file list. So when we finally, because I've seen some of it, when we get all of the Epstein files and it's redacted, we know exactly who it was redacted for. The redactions are for Donald J. Trump, the man that get his pussy blown out because his front end doesn't work. The white man, when it don't work, they like to be tapped in the rear. They want you to peg them too. So let me tell you something, Donald Trump. You ain't SHIT and you ain't never been. And that come from your ancestors. You are a bottom feeder. You're trash. And you smell worse than a trash can. So we're going to listen to something that has to do with Trump's election, a stance on justice for redemption for some... Just let me... Hold on. This is from the New York Times. Let me take a sip of water. I'm very upset about this. How they holding that black woman hostage. And she's a congresswoman. The white Republican MAGA racist thugs has her hostage. That is a crime to hold someone not of their will. Because she don't want to sign something. You can't force somebody to sign something. She should have put her foot up, all y'all up in there. I'm going to tell you, if that was me in there and they're going to try to hold me hostage, I would have been fighting. I'm telling you now, you ain't going to hold me hostage. Not of my will. If I want to leave, I'm going to leave because that's who I am. So, hold on, beautiful people. Give me a moment. It's not opening. I wonder what's wrong with this link. I opened a link earlier. Hold on. Some reason this link don't want to open. I'm going to move to the next subject. So we're going to listen to this beautiful queen. She's going to talk about the Texan Republicans.
Y'all want to tell me why the Texas Republicans are holding a black woman legislator hostage right now? Y'all want to tell me why the fuck they are doing this shit? And why it's always a black woman?
Always.
A black woman who has to hold the motherfucking line. So Texas State Representative Nicole Collier, she is currently being held in the House chambers because she is refusing to sign a release saying that she can be released into DPS custody because she's not a motherfucking criminal. She just did an interview with my good sis Angela Rye. Watch this clip.
What do you anticipate happening between now and then? If you were to leave without signing that permission slip,
I wouldn't sign it. Because she's not a criminal.
Yes, absolutely.
Donald Trump is a criminal.
In fact, I did ask the DPS officer if I was free to leave, and I was told that I was not unless I signed the permission slip.
Don't sign it, please.
That would allow a DPS officer, allow me to be released into the custody of a DPS officer. I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong.
Donald Trump is a criminal.
Right to deny quorum. I have a right to resist. Every one of us have a right to resist peacefully. And when you see something that's wrong, you got to stand up to it.
Hit the like button, beautiful people. Come on.
Everybody go home. Oh, we've done enough. We don't need to keep, breaking quorum when, yes, the fuck you do. If you're going to stop the dilution of black and brown votes in the state of Texas, if you're going to actually fight back against this fascist ass fucking government that's trying to steal votes, that is engaging in voter suppression blatantly so, right? He's sitting his ass at home. And meanwhile, this black woman is alone in chambers. I don't even know if her staff is allowed in there with her. And she's standing there holding the motherfucking line. So I just need everybody to remember exactly what is happening in Texas, what is happening that affects the entire country, and how it affects black people as a whole. And just remember who the fuck stood 10 toes down. Y'all want to tell me why the Texas Republicans are holding a black woman legislator hostage right now? Y'all want to...
The MAGA Texas Republicans are committing a huge crime. That is a crime to hold anyone against their will. But what white people feel and think of black people, that we have no fucking rights. That's what the fuck they feel. Yes, I'm pissed and I'm cussing. This is my channel. They feel black people have no rights in this country because of Donald J. Trump has made them feel that they can mistreat black and brown people. Donald Trump, you are the worst that ever sat behind that resident desk. You should be knocked down a couple pegs and pegged in your rear because that's what you like.
We have urgent news, and I need your help to get the word out. Representative Nicole Collier, a Texas state representative, a Texas Democrat, is literally being held, not being allowed to leave the Texas state capitol because Republicans want to force her to sign a permission slip to require Texas law enforcement to escort her out. She is refusing, and they won't let her leave the building. Folks, this is stunning. I reported earlier that they wouldn't let her leave the House floor. Now they won't let her leave the building. She could theoretically be there all session. That's several weeks. Nicole Collier is one of the Texas Democrats who broke quorum.
And I will stay there and sue the F out of them.
Republicans from passing a gerrymander.
Hit that like button. Come out them bushes and hit the like button.
Republicans require them to sign permission slips to be escorted by Texas law enforcement, not just off the House floor, but outside of the Texas state capitol. And she's the one who refused. She's standing strong and refused. You know what they're doing? They're literally not letting her leave. So spread the word so more people know, because this needs to be a national...
White, mediocre white men are not letting Nicole Collier leave. A black woman. Because she refused to sign something to give them authority over her when she has not committed a crime. While that big buffoon that look like a skunk and a squirrel, Donald Trump, is the real felony in this country. He has more felonies than Jeffrey Dahmer. He has more felonies than Al Capone, and the list goes on and on. Donald Trump, stop fucking with black women. You're mad because they wouldn't have you. They wouldn't stick claim to you when you wanted to stick them. Nobody wanted it. But Melania, she don't even want it. She wants your money, you rotten skunk. We are living in Jim Crow days under Trump. He must go. I don't care what they do to Donald Trump. Because when he's gone, I'm going to celebrate. Take him tonight, Lord. Even when these two young Hispanic Mexican girls saved other children, 20 victims in Texas flood, Donald Trump didn't say anything. Because what? They're brown people. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This ugly MFer only think that white people are successful at something. Well, black and brown people are successful too. And black people are more educated than you.
Notice the two girls who saved 20 victims in the Texas floods? Their actions made Trump look like a clown of the century. When the flood swept through the summer camp in Kerr County, Texas, Trump was playing golf at his estate, interacting affectionately with Melania at the Independence Day ceremony.
They're faking.
And receiving a Nobel
There's no
Peace Prize
affection in that
nomination from
marriage.
the Israeli Prime Minister at a White House dinner. Meanwhile, at the Mystic Camp, two Latino girls from Mexico, Silvana Garza and Maria Paula, were doing their utmost to save lives amid the floodwaters. As the water levels rose sharply, they didn't panic, but took immediate action.
And what did Donald Trump say to them? Nothing.
Guided everyone to higher ground and carried the children who couldn't walk on their backs. Silvana and Maria.
If it would have been a
also wrote
white
each
person, he
neighbor's
would
name
have
on their arms to
celebrated their
ensure their identities
heroism.
could be confirmed
But
in
with
case
these
of an
two
accident.
people, because
In
they're
contrast,
Mexican,
Trump's
nothing.
immigration policies clearly target Latinos, especially with prejudice against Mexicans. Someone should perhaps tell him the story of these two heroic girls instead of constantly demeaning people with brown skin. What's more, his previous move to fire 800 employees for Weather Bureau led to delays in disaster information. Did you notice the two girls who saved 20 victims?
Donald Trump is the biggest racist, the biggest criminal, but he claimed he wants to remove criminals out of Washington, D.C., where they better get started with you and your whole MAGA Republican Party, even to Pam Bundy, because she's upholding your wrong with the Epstein files. She's doing a cover-up for you, and that is breaking the law.
Everyone, it is Angela Rye from Native Land Pod. I'm here just to let you all know that I just had a very, very important conversation with State Representative Nicole Collier, who represents the Fort Worth area in the Texas State Legislature. What you all should know is that they are requiring that members of the State House get permission slips signed to leave the House floor. She would not sign that permission slip, which meant that she is being held on the House floor by the Department of Public Services Department of Public Safety, until she agrees to sign that permission slip. They are treating her like
I
she's
would
on
pee and
parole.
poop all over that
They are
place and
treating
act
her
like Donald
she's on
Trump.
probation. Here is the thing,
Because they will have to clean it up.
Some of the folks who
They don't let her leave, poop all over the place.
Racist redistricting maps did not pass. Some of them returned home. The Texas Legislative Black Caucus did not help the members break quorum, but some of them did come in. They said to weigh in on some rules packages that they didn't agree with. Texas State Representative Nicole Collier is one of those members. We just had a very important conversation on our Native Land Pod live. You should absolutely watch that live. It is incredulous to know that grown people need permission slips and from police officers to leave the House floor.
That is against the law.
Stuck on the House floor of the Texas State Legislature until Wednesday.
They are doing it to black people only.
You're going to want to understand why she went back to begin with, knowing that this is something that could happen. I can't wait to hear you all's thoughts. Make sure that you're following at Native Land Pod. Make sure that you're weighing in. We want to hear from you. Some of these folks may need ideas at this point. They've been out for some time protesting and quorum breaking. And at some point, they may need some additional ideas. These maps are likely to pass. Where do we go from here? Weigh in, y'all. Talk to you soon. Okay.
That whole thing with redistricting things is to block black and brown people votes. That's what it's about. They are afraid of our vote because our vote is powerful. Our vote what got President Barack Obama in office. Our vote is what got President Joe Biden in office 2020 when he won. And Donald Trump tell lies and claimed that he won the 2020 election. Listen here, you ugly MF, you ain't won anything. You didn't even win this time. The white greed what got you in there. Because Elon Musk's money. The white man is greedy and he mediocre and he got a small thing in his pants. And because he got such a small thing in his pants, he hate black men. So what do they want to do? Arrest black men in Washington, D.C. to make it a way where they think they're going to weaken the black woman. I be damned. It ain't happening.
Egyptians are not African. I'm sorry.
Do you know where Egypt is?
Yes, it's in North Africa.
Okay, stop. You stop right there. You just said that you said the Egyptians are not African.
Are white South Africans African?
Wait. Yes, they are African.
Because they wasn't there at the beginning. They stole land.
So if you come from the continent of Africa,
white South Africans were not originals.
African. So and you do know
they stole land. So that's what whites do.
Originated from Africa, or do you say that's
it's in their ancestry to do what they have done, take from others.
What are you referring to?
I'm talking archaeology. I'm talking biology. I'm talking science. In terms of the where did man originate? Where scientists, white scientists.
Egypt was an amazing civilization. It was not created by black Africans. I'm sorry.
It wasn't. Who created it?
People who are white.
Okay, how are people?
You can look at. You can actually look at art, and they differentiate between races.
I gotta ask you a question. How do you
from ancient Egyptian art?
You do know those were black people. You do know
black people was the first people on this earth.
You can't get black from white. You can get white from black. You do know when it comes to evolution.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you never studied science?
He's dumb.
I see what you're. Yes.
That's a mediocre white
I
man,
know,
mediocre white
but
man
man
running his
originated
D-suckers.
in Africa. Yes or no?
That is a consensus. Yes.
Okay,
That's
so if man originated in Africa, which means that they were Africans, then all of a sudden, when you talk about the amazing works of the Egyptians, they were people of color. I know that's a little rough for you to handle, but I know you want to hold on to that. Somehow,
White people not even in the Bible.
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, we did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because first of all, they were building things in Egypt while white Europeans were still in caves. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Okay, sure.
You're from the Caucasus Mountains. Don't be ashamed of where you're from. But I tell you what, y'all gonna leave black people alone. I tell you that much. We're not going back. Because that's what Donald Trump has in his funky mind. Alleged syphilis brain, allegedly. And then this witch right here.
Be crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending and ending today.
The crime rate is down 30% in Washington, D.C. They are putting out a narrative that is not true. Pam Bundy, Cash Patel, Donald Trump is putting out a narrative that is not true in Washington, D.C. It's not true. Do your own research if you don't believe me.
Up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. Doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. It's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on. Wake up, America. Wake up.
I've been trying to tell y'all, wake up. Wake the F up. Now listen to what this white fireman chief says to a young little black girl. A 10-year-old black girl. He even called her a bitch. And why do they feel empowered? Because Donald Trump has given mediocre white men permission to F with black people. Try me. A 10-year-old little girl. A black little girl.
That is Fire Chief Peter Alt. Here is his photo. This happened at the North Babylon Fire Company up near Long Island. He was telling this little 10-year-old girl who was getting loaded into an ambulance to shut the F up. Yes. I don't even know.
A white mediocre man.
The unit gets to do their thing on this one. He has been relieved of his duties. This incident is pending an investigation, but
a mediocre white man
back. He should not go back to the company he was at. He should never be allowed to work with the general public like this again. And everybody should see this
dangerous
and know exactly who the fuck he is.
MAGA Republicans are dangerous.
When they Google his name, they should be able to see this. That this is how he talks to 10-year-old little girls on a stretcher being loaded up in an ambulance. The little girl was suffering, I think, a mental health crisis. But regardless of whatever this girl was going through, she's a 10-year-old little girl.
Black people are under attack by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans.
Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Black people are under attack by the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a danger to everyone. He is a menace to society. One moment, please.
History of politicians exaggerating a crime wave is long and global. Elected officials have leaned on the fear of crime for centuries to gain power, to distract from real issues, or to justify turning communities into police states. Nixon used it with law and order to sell mass incarceration. Reagan leaned on it with the crack panic. And Trump Trump insisted America was drowning in violence even when crime was at a historic low. Because fear is political currency. It justifies more policing, more surveillance, and more control, all while the real drivers of safety, housing, wages, healthcare, stability, get ignored because we're so often taught that crime is an individual moral failing versus a systemic one. So, punishing it and being outraged at individuals has a way of making people feel righteous, especially when it's individuals with less than us. People panic over street crime because it's visceral, visible, and dramatic, while wage theft is hidden, bureaucratic, and usually pretty normalized. One fits the story of bad individuals, and the other exposes systemic exploitation. So the bigger crime provokes less outrage, which brings us to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And before we get into it, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to subscribe to this channel and leave us a comment and share it with a friend if you're expanding your perspective through it. So this context provides a perfect backdrop for Marjorie Taylor Greene, claiming that Washington, D.C. is once again safe, not with data, not with investment, but the fact that she can walk around without incident. Okay, here's the clip. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Everything I show you is fair use, great for educational purposes, and great entertainment. But tonight it's about research, all research. They never liked us. They never, ever liked black people. We were the first one on this earth. We are the chosen ones. Because if you was the first people on earth, then you're the only people in the Bible pretty much. Because white people are not in the Bible. You weren't even here first. And when you came from black people, you came from black people. Yes, you did. You lived in the Caucasus Mountains, eating whatever was crawling around, raw meat, even ate some of your own, just as you did in slavery. You ate black people. You wore our skin, made furniture, sofas from our skin. That's who you are. Donald Trump is mad because there's so many educated black women. So what does Abbott and his goonies, yes, the thugs in Texas, what do? They hold the black woman, Nicole Collier, hostage. That's a crime. And I hope she lawyer up and eat their... Y'all don't really want to know what's in my head. Barry, you don't want to know what's in my head. Trust me, you don't want to know what's in my head. Fix it, Jesus. So, not only is Donald Trump having black people harassed in Washington, D.C., the fat MFer is having the homeless harassed too.
News, you need to watch them.
So where are they going to go, Donnie? They harassing them while they're inside their tents, homeless.
Breaking news, you need to watch
What's
them.
effed up about the situation? Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans already had the shelter shut down. Even here in Atlanta, there's very few shelters. It was a huge one downtown. I used to go and donate food there sometimes. Shut down. The one I used to up in Midtown, Atlanta Day Shelter for Women and Children. I think it either downsized in some kind of way, or either shut down or something. It's so many shelters that have shut down. Where do you expect the homeless to go? See, in Donald Trump's sick, twisted mind, he think all homeless people are black people. You fat fool. Is white people homeless too? So all the things he's doing to try to hurt black people, he's hurting his own people. So he don't give a F about you neither. One moment. So there's an article out about, it says 3 more Republican governors send National Guard troops to Washington as Trump administration expands federal crackdown. I'm going to read the article to you all. Donnie Boy, the Bussy Boy, is beefing up his show of force in Washington, D.C. Three more Republican governors in Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana. I also heard about South Carolina as well. Governors in Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana just agreed to send National Guard troops to the nation's capital, according to CNN. That pushes a total of over 1,100 troops from 6 states. Governors from West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio also pledged hundreds of troops, 300 to 400, 200, 150, respectively. The move is a part of Trump's new federal operation, which he says is meant to crack down on crime and boost immigration enforcement. His wife is an immigrant. Lord, take her and let him sleep for a lifetime. His executive order even declared a crime emergency in D.C. and ordered local police to work with federal agents on immigration despite local laws banning that. See, he thinks he doesn't have to follow the law. Hello, wisdom daughter. How you doing, my beautiful sister, my beautiful queen? Thank you. Thank you for sharing love. Donald Trump, he feels he doesn't have to follow the law because it says and ordered local police to work with federal agents on immigration despite local laws banning that. This fat MF doesn't think he has to abide by the law. I wake up every day. I'm like, God, is he gone yet? Is he gone yet, God? Please take him. Take him, Lord Jesus. We're tired. One moment, please. So this is about Trump's selected stance on justice. Why this thing? Every time I hit this link, y'all, it's a New York Times link. I'll go back to it later. For some reason, the link is acting up. I'll go back to it later. So the GOP lawmaker pushed for unconstitutional third term for Trump. So let's go over this for a little bit. This buffoon, he said today, and I showed earlier on my live when I was covering the Epstein, the Putin, you know, all of that stuff. So he was asking a question, and he said, well, if there's a war started, then there's no election. I think he wants to start a civil war. I think that's his goal. But I pray that my black, beautiful people, we don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, because he like a banana in his tailpipe, because it don't work in the front. I know white men. It don't work in the front. They got to get off some kind of way, so they get hit in the rear. This buffoon, his goal is to have a third term. But honestly, his goal is to never have to leave the Oval Office. That's why he's building this ballroom, because Mar-a-Lago has an ugly, cheap, tacky ballroom. So he has no plans on leaving the Oval Office. So that's why he's trying to make it his home, and all this he's doing that doesn't make sense. That's very tacky. They destroyed the Rose Garden. I think, wasn't it Roosevelt's wife that put the Rose Garden out there, if I'm not mistaken, and Melania didn't like it, so they pavemented it out. The Trumps are tacky. They're tacky thieves. That's what they are. They stole from a cancer charity. They can no longer own a charity in New York. But anyway, it said the GOP lawmaker pushes for unconstitutional third term for Trump. Representative Andy Ogles says, give Trump a third term, give him a peace prize, and let him run D.C. as long as he wants. That's what one of the MAGA Republicans said. I'm going to read it to you again, what these maggot MFers want to do. They said, give Trump a third time, give him a peace prize. He ain't going to get it. And let him run D.C. as long as he wants. It's bad enough he run his D-suckers. He ain't doing good trying to run a country. He's actually worse than what he was the first term. So no. And then it says the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution says no person should be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of the president or acted as president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. But what does Donald Trump do? He doesn't follow the law. The MAGA Republicans doesn't follow the law. So the Democrats, we got to get dirty in what they are. We don't have to meet them where they are. We need to, when you fight them, you don't even fight below the belt. You fight below their shoes and push them down till they bust their head on the pavement. You got to get dirty than the MAGA Republicans. Fight dirtier than them. Trump, like he said, Newsom said, they already got their hats made. Trump 2028. I rebuke you, Satan. I rebuke Donald Trump. I rebuke the whole MAGA Republican Party. You got to go. One moment, please. Drink plenty of water. I have a crystal glass, but I'm drinking water, baby, because it keeps me looking younger than my age. I'm 51 and I'm looking. I'm to my horn because I'm black. Don't get Botox. Don't get fillers, baby. Black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Okay. Y'all, I'm so pissed off today. So we're going to listen to Michelle Obama, okay? Because she's going to tell her how Donald Trump feel about us like we supposed to, you know, them black jobs. You know, but Donald Trump don't believe black people supposed to be in higher places. They shouldn't be in politics. They should be out in the fields. The devil is a liar. One moment, please.
We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs? We know folks are going to...
You want to know why Donald Trump was rushing to get our beautiful brown people out of our country? This ain't Donald Trump country. This is our country. He works for us. But he don't flip the script. He has his stupid platform of people thinking that we work for them. So now America is so screwed up where they think that Americans have to bow down to Donald Trump. We pay him. We pay his goonies. Pam Bundy, Cash Patel, Pete Hegseth. We pay them. But we're getting treated like peasants. But we're paying people to treat us like peasants. What the? Trump's long history with black people. I'm going to show you something. Hold on.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known.
Listen to the
Harris
fool.
has always identified and lived as a black and Indian person. And yet, before Wednesday night, a lot of people predicted Trump would say something like this, probably because the former president has a history of inflammatory and sometimes racist remarks as well as lawsuits. In 1973, Trump and his father were sued by the Justice Department for discriminating against black people seeking to rent apartments. In 1989, Trump wanted the death penalty reinstated for 5 black and Latino teenagers who were exonerated 13 years later. Throughout Obama's presidency, Trump repeatedly and falsely claims that Obama was born in Kenya.
There's something on that birth certificate.
While his wife is an immigrant.
Apprentice has claimed that Trump used the N-word to describe a black contestant. So as you can imagine, Trump was not well received in Chicago. Joseph was there in the building.
There was lots of booing and groaning, except for the front row for like 2 people who were cheering at everything he said.
Former President Trump was interviewed Wednesday afternoon at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened.
What, Donnie? No one had to tell us we know you're racist. You didn't know she was black. When he talking about he webbing his hands, he doing his hands like that because he's tired of smelling himself. So he trying to fan to get some air. So we're going to listen to Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, the one Donald Trump called low IQ when she's highly educated. She's an attorney. Donnie, I showed my people your grades when you was at Warden or something like that, university. Your father paid for that, you know. Not that you actually earned anything. Let's listen to Jasmine Crockett, you guys. One moment, please.
It's more racism. Because essentially what you're saying is that black people, we know y'all know all about going to jail. To be clear, this guy has 34 felonies. I've never been arrested for a traffic ticket. I do want to be clear that there are black folk that haven't actually experienced jail. I have been in jail, obviously, as a former criminal defense attorney. But I do want to be clear that, as Kendrick Lamar says, they are not like us. He is not like us. So for my clients, I've never had one that had this many charges pending against them. But I've never had anybody come close to him and somehow still be walking free pre-trial. That's not how we get treated when we end up getting locked up. It's more racism. Because essentially what you're saying is that...
When Donald Trump did that mugshot, they didn't even put him behind bars. He should have been put behind bars. He's still committing crimes while he's in the Oval Office. But the white mediocre people allow him to just do whatever the F he want to do. So now, black people, we need to do what the F we need to do. Not want, need to do.
In the United States of America, we wouldn't have virtually any music if it weren't for the black people. Virtually, I think all of our music, whether it's country, western, bluegrass, the blues, rock and roll, you name it, it all started and came from black America. So when you listen to the music of your choice, remember, chances are you wouldn't hear that music if it weren't for black people long ago. In the United
Everything and everybody come from black people. White people, you come from us. White people come from black people. We were the first ones here, baby. We are the sun children. And you know, y'all can't sit out in the sun very long, you know. I get sunburned too, but I can still sit out there. I still go walking, even when I get sunburned. Y'all study our music to learn how to sing like us. And once you learn how to sing like us, you think you can compete with us. You can't compete with the first. You can't. See, we never go and study anything that you do. Even with tennis, Venus and Serena, they father taught them. They didn't go look at you to learn anything. Y'all listen to our music, gospel music, and copy. Our great R&B singers, even to the Asian people, they do it. But you don't like us. They're not like us.
Donald Trump called you a Compton. What do you feel?
All right, you just addressed this. Thanks.
Please answer that question. If you
Okay, fine. Since you are begging,
I
do
like
believe
him.
that Donald Trump is intimidated. I think
Okay,
you're begging.
no interruptions.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I will just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because he's small.
And I guarantee you, those big words, Donald Trump don't know those words. He ain't got the education to know those words. He had his poppy's money, and he blew all his poppy's money to the point he was so broke he had to tell his daughter, what was her name, Ivanka Trump, they didn't have enough money to buy a sandwich before. And you was giving all that money. When black people have to work hard to get everything we get without any handouts. Y'all tell us to pull up our bootstraps while y'all was in the line for your food stamps. Food stamps was created for the white woman. It was not created for the black woman. Stop your lies. Stop your capping. It's more white people on food stamps than black people.
Are African Americans still dying?
Hold on.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask.
He could never answer a question properly. He got to compare.
More white people.
Okay. Setting aside the fact that black people are disproportionately stopped, arrested, and killed by the police, what is Trump's argument here? Because this reporter was like, cops are killing a lot of black people, and Trump's response was, no, you idiot.
They're killing everybody. These cops are lunatics. Blacks, whites, browns. All lives don't matter.
I mean, it actually almost sounds like Trump is one step away from defunding the police because of how
Oh,
they
he
treat
is.
white people. And you know what? I don't agree with his logic, but if it gets us to meaningful police reform, I'll take it.
I call it defund plus plus.
Estimated news right now, one Texas Democrat is literally locked in on the Texas House floor because she refuses to sign a permission slip that would require Texas law enforcement to escort her around. This is a crazy story. So you know how Texas Democrats fled the state, broke quorum? Well, they're back now. And Texas Republicans are requiring that Texas law enforcement literally escort members around the Texas state capitol. And they have to sign this
Like their
permission
children.
slip to
Are
do
you
that.
kidding me?
One Texas Democrat right there, Representative Nicole Collier, is refusing. And she's literally locked in on the Texas
That's
State House floor,
hostage.
not able
Illegal.
to move, not going anywhere. And a
I would
symbolic
tear that
protest of
place
sorts
up.
because she is refusing to allow Texas law enforcement to escort her around the state capitol. Yes, Texas Democrats are back. Yes, Republicans will likely pass their gerrymandered maps. But even through it all, you have a representative like Representative Collier still protesting, even on the House floor.
If you hold someone hostage, they have a right to self-defense. Anybody would have came near me and telling me I can't leave somewhere, and I gotta be forced to sign something when I have not committed any crimes, they wouldn't have got away with that because I would have lit that. Let me tell you something. And they're a bunch of old white men. You bust them knees first, and you take them down on the ground. You bust their head against. Let me stop. It wouldn't have been me. You best believe it wouldn't have been me. So, we're going to hear something from Jasmine Crockett. As a former Texas state rep, let me be clear. Locking Representative Nicole Collier inside the chamber is beyond outrageous. Forcing elected officials to sign a permission slip, permission slips, and take police escorts to leave. That's not procedure. It's not. It's against the law. The white man think he don't have to obey the law. That's some old Jim Crow playbook. Like I told y'all earlier, that's some Jim Crow SHIT. Texas Republicans have lost their damn minds. And she should put her foot up, all of them. If any of them would have came near me, I would have went off so bad, they would have thought the ancestors don't raise up all them slaves from out there picking cotton, would have whipped their ass. They wouldn't have got away with it with me, I'm telling y'all, because I will fight. And that's why I keep myself in shape. I exercise. So I got to open up a can of whip. I can. Black people, get yourselves healthy, eat right, exercise. It is time for us to stand up because they're trying us. Hold on.
The clock is ticking on Donald Trump's 30-day federal takeover of the D.C. police, and Democrats are on fire about it, calling the move everything from authoritarian overreach by a lawless president to an unnecessary stunt to a raw authoritarian power grab. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who represents D.C. as a delegate in Congress, and Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen are now reintroducing legislation to grant D.C. full control over its National Guard and the Metro Police Department. Now, they won't get it because it's a majority Republican Congress, but their messaging is clear. Donald Trump is out of control. And if you look at the 5 cities he called out directly at his press conference yesterday, all are majority cities. And then just last hour, here's the mayor of Baltimore on this program.
Every single city that he called out yesterday has a
A
black mayor.
black.
If anybody thinks that's a coincidence, you're wrong. We know that folks, when they look and see black
And they were
mayors around the
whistleblowing
country
too.
are actually winning on the issue that they want to talk about, or how high violence is in these black-led cities. But when you look, we're having the success of historic lows under black leadership, black mayor leadership across the country. And that should be something that should be uplifted.
And Washington has a black mayor. He doesn't like that.
Expand that success, not trying to degrade them simply because they're not in your party.
Joining us now is Reverend Al Sharpton, National Action Network president and host of MSNBC's Politics Nation. Michael Hardaway is former communications director and spokesman for Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. So, Michael, is the message you're hearing the Democrats are not going to take this sitting down?
Power concedes nothing without action, is what Frederick Douglass said, and that's what Democrats are doing. They refuse to allow this to happen. The reality is that if Democrats lie down and let Republicans steal these seats in Texas, that is only the first step in many. They will do that in other states, and that is their way to try to hold the majority in the House, which is only centered on Donald Trump avoiding accountability for his litany of illegal acts during this presidency. And so Democrats have to fight here. They're doing the right thing. Leader Jeffries and Mr. Schumer are doing the right thing by leading that fight, and they should continue that.
So, Rev, one man in Washington, D.C. told our colleagues that he does not feel safe calling it home anymore, especially after President Trump's announcement. Take a listen.
It just feels like a microscope is now on like black people, and listening to the press conference on my way over here, every city that he named, Chicago, Oakland, Baltimore, which by the way, Baltimore's crime is down 50%. All of them are black cities. So it just feels not only like a target on DC's back, but also mine as a black man in DC. It's just, it doesn't feel like home anymore. I was just texting my mom and my girlfriend like, yo, I think it may be time to like move out of DC because for one, I'm not wanted, and two, it's not safe, and I kind of was left speechless because it's just, this isn't home anymore. It doesn't feel like home anymore.
Donald Trump, Rev, says he's actually making Washington, D.C. safer. Is that what's happening?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump was sat in the White House several hours during January 6th while his followers were beating police officers, Capitol Police, and others.
And threatened to unalive Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence and others.
And told them to stop. And when he finally did, it was almost at the end of the day. And to add insult to injury, when he got back in office, he pardoned people who'd been convicted of felony acts on January 6th. So now all of a sudden he wants to bring order to Washington. So you've got to deal with his record. His record is that if people are violent and disobey the law and assault law enforcement and are supportive of him, that's fine. But on some others that he claims out of control, because the data says that crime and violent crime has gone down in Washington, he's going to send out the National Guard. Well, why didn't he send it out January 6th?
Because they're white.
Politics. It's aimed at black mayors. It's aimed at also trying to take the Epstein case and the files off the front page. And it's drama.
Oh, we're still going to talk about Epstein. That's why I did 2 lives.
We're going to end up with stop and frisk in D.C. He will take it to other cities while they, at the same time, try to rob people of their proper districts according to the census in Texas, and will do it other places. So the rules don't matter anymore. You don't wait on the census now to draw congressional lines. We'll do it when we want, because we need more seats to keep you out of power. And we will just uproot law enforcement, even though the data says things are going in the right way, because we just want to be in charge, and we'll set the rules as we go.
Well, I think, Rev, you probably just heard Michael say that he believes that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are doing the right thing by pushing back against Texas redistricting. When you look at what seemed clearly from the President of the United States yesterday saying, listen, Baltimore, listen, Oakland, listen, New York, listen, Los Angeles, you could be next. How do officials...
Donald Trump likes to get his rocks off by being a bully. He making threats. Listen, Baltimore, listen, all those other states. You are weak. Beta male Donald Trump. You're not loved by your wife. Your son barely comes to see you. Barren. Your children are F-ups too. They help you steal from a cancer foundation. You can't even have a foundation in New York anymore. One of your sons is tooting nose candy. Something I've never done. That's why I look so young. The apple don't fall from the tree. Donald Trump's daddy was the worst of the worst. His mother as well. Both was ugly like him. That's why he came out looking like shit on a stick. One moment. So, President Barack Obama praises Texas Democrats for blocking Trump-backed redistricting. I'll read it to you.
Let a systematic assault on democracy just happen and stand by. And so, because of your actions, because of your courage, what you've seen is California responding. We can't let a systematic assault on democracy just happen and stand by.
I agree with him.
Other states looking at what they can do to offset this mid-decade gerrymandering that is highly irregular and is not what we should be doing. Other states looking at what they can do to offset this mid-decade gerrymandering that is highly irregular and is not what we should be doing. Other states looking at what they can do to
other states such as California. Governor Newsom is going to do what he has to do to offset what Texas is trying to do. And New York said they will do what they have to do as well. So let me read to you what it says about President Barack Obama, what he was saying, him praising Texas. One moment. It says, former President Barack Obama praised Texas House Democrats for their efforts in blocking Trump-backed redistricting maps. Using a virtual meeting on Thursday, August the 14th, Obama joined a private Zoom call with Texas Democrats who fled the state to prevent legislature from reaching the quorum needed to vote on new congressional maps. This proposed withdrawal would give Republicans as many as 5 additional House seats. Democrats have argued that redistricting will suppress voters of color and is a blatant power grab orchestrated by Trump to obtain control in Washington. Obama praised Texas Democrat lawmakers on Thursday for protecting voting rights and fighting against partisan gerrymandering. The former president lauded that fight against the Republican efforts to enact an even more egregious gerrymander in Texas ahead of the midterms. He made clear that they are a part of a bigger effort to protect free and fair elections and commended them for inspiring others with their actions. An Obama spokesperson said in a statement. Texas Representative Jing Wu, chair of the state's House Democratic Caucus, said the meeting with President Barack Obama was powerful and showed that we don't stand alone. Wu noted that the group had met virtually from an undisclosed location due to Republican threats and surveillance. They know their radical gerrymandering scheme is falling apart, so they are resorting to intimidation tactics. And with the intimidation tactics, they are doing what? They're holding Nicole Collier hostage. That is how desperate the MAGA Republicans are. That is how desperate the fat, funky man in the Oval Office is. The white MAGA Republicans that are a menace to society, they are holding a black woman. And I pray she does not fold. You stand strong. They are holding a black woman hostage. Do y'all not hear me? Hostage. Hostage. Holding a black woman hostage. That is what's happening in the MAGA Republicans. What are they doing?
Y'all want to tell me why the Texas Republicans are holding a black woman legislator hostage right now? Y'all want to tell me why the fuck they are doing this shit? And why it's always a black woman? Always a black woman who has to hold the motherfucking line. So Texas State Representative Nicole Collier, she is currently being held in the House chambers because she is refusing to sign a release saying that she can be released into DPS custody because she's not a motherfucking criminal. She just did an interview with my good sis Angela Rye. Watch this clip.
Actually, what do you anticipate happening between now and then? If you were to leave without signing that permission slip, what happens?
Could be subject to arrest. Yes, absolutely. I could be subject to arrest. In fact, I did ask the DPS officer if I was free to leave, and I was told that I was not unless I signed the permission slip that would allow a DPS officer, allow me to be released into the custody of a DPS officer. I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong. I have a right to deny quorum. I have a right to resist.
White folks do it all the
Every one
time.
of us have a right to resist.
They did it with the Epstein files, so you have to vote.
When you see something that's wrong, you got to stand to it.
So while Texas Representative John Busey said everybody go home, oh, we've done enough. We don't need to keep, breaking quorum when, yes, the fuck you do. If you're going to stop the dilution of black and brown votes in the state of Texas, if you're going to actually fight back against this fascist ass fucking government that's trying to steal votes, that is engaging in voter suppression blatantly so, right? He's sitting his ass at home. And meanwhile, this black woman is alone in chambers. I don't even know if her...
Yeah. That's what the white race does. And I'm going to show y'all something. This is how they treat black people. This is a pastor from Alabama being arrested for watering his white neighbor's flowers. This is a black man. I remember seeing this video on YouTube. I don't want to play that music. He was arrested by the white officer because he was told by his neighbor while she's out of town to water her plants. And he did that. And he got arrested by a white officer. A menace to society. One moment, please.
Earlier today, Trump said that he will suspend the 2028 presidential election, quote, if we are at war. And he even joked that he might start a war for that purpose. Now, putting aside the fact that the president of the United States says he would start a war to stay in power, this would be a first. Never in the history of the United States have we ever canceled presidential elections due to wartime. We didn't do it during World War II. We didn't do it during the Civil War. So it's hard to imagine any conflict that would actually necessitate this. Also, Trump doesn't have the authority. The 20th Amendment of the United States Constitution requires that his term will end January 20th of 2028. There is no exception to that rule. And Congress sets the election dates. That was actually codified in 1845. No president has the...
I hear him, what he's saying. But Donnie hasn't followed the rules since he got back in Oval Office. And what he has is the white MAGA Republicans backing all his wrongdoing. So I don't put anything past these power thumpers, white mediocre people. And I'm not talking about all white people, because there's some beautiful white people out there. But that MAGA Republican Party, their regime, is to destroy the black race. And it always has been. Because that is what the American white people have been built on, is racism. One moment, please. Take a listen to this.
Anybody, I'm in Clyde, North Carolina, and they try to kill me, y'all.
Some white people tried to kill a truck driver, a black truck driver.
They tried to kill me. They tried to kill me. I'm in Clyde, North
He's
Carolina.
delivering a truck driver.
They're on Clyde, North Carolina. They tried to kill me at the landfill.
That is what's happening in this world. Donald Trump has, when he gets up there and talk at that podium, he's whistleblowing to those dangerous white people. Those mediocre white men, they can't compete with black men, nor the black woman. They're pissed because they think black people need to be put in their place.
Donald Trump, in some ways, people try to say God put him in the White House. I don't believe God is that cruel. But in a way, I'm thinking the way you could justify saying that, Donald Trump is the physical embodiment of all of America's sins.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Right? He's sloppy. He's unkempt. Everything about him is false. His hair is a pretense of non-baldness. He's old, but his followers try to pretend that he looks like Superman. He's a terrible businessman and a failure who gets to fake success because he's white, so banks keep lending him money even when he's failing. His father scoops money out of his siblings' inheritance to give him when he fails. He's a fuck up, but he's able to be a success because white America keeps saying, no, that guy is what success looks like. He's only a success on that TV show because when he was at his brokest, he gets hired to be on The Apprentice. His boardroom couldn't even be used on The Apprentice, and I found this out of my first, my Trump book, because it was so shoddy and unkempt. I went in Trump Tower in the 80s. It was tacky and sad. His marriage is a fraud. Melania clearly won't even touch him. The last time she let him touch her, they had Barron. Clear that he ain't touching her now. He doesn't believe in marriage. He doesn't have morality. He got 3 baby mamas, 5 children. Everything about him is a lie. He's not a Christian, but Christians love him. But he embodies the greed, the shamelessness, the lasciviousness of capitalism. And now also to your main, and I think really important point, the mediocrity. He could never be JFK. He's not handsome. He's not suave. He's not brave. He was never a war hero like JFK. He has none. Even RFK can never be JFK. None of these people stand up to JFK's legacy. But he can only get a theater named after him by stealing JFK's. Melania can only get a ballroom, the Kit Kat Club lady he met at the Kit Kat Club. We don't know who introduced him, but Jeffrey Epstein was around. She can only get a ballroom named after her by being married to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he said himself, he could never get a Kennedy Center honor. Unworthy. But he can get one now. He can steal one because he owns a Kennedy Center.
What does the devil do? He steal, K-I-L-L, and destroy. And that's what Donald Trump does. Yes, that is exactly what he does. One moment, please. And we're going to be getting out of here. I'm looking for this motivational video. Hold on. Because I didn't get to show it earlier. Because my live just blinked out.
Overweight is hard. Being physically fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Working a 9 to 5 until you're 65 years old is hard. Starting a business is hard. Choose your hard. A careless life without God is hard. A life dedicated to God is hard. Choose your hard. You see, life is never easy. It's hard by nature. And the only thing you have to do is choose your hard. So choose wisely. Being overweight is hard.
One moment, please. Oh, I'm going to show y'all this right here. I saw this like a couple years ago. It might have been, I saw it during probably the pandemic time. But yes, a black guy doing his job, being harassed by the white police officer.
Comply with my orders.
I don't have a weapon.
That's a weapon.
This is a bucket.
No, that's a weapon.
This is a clamper for picking up garbage, sir.
I couldn't help but notice you just sitting on the patio out there.
What's that?
I couldn't help but notice you sitting on the patio behind this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's signs for no trespassing, private property, that kind of
Because
thing.
he black.
I wasn't sure what you're doing, if you live here or you work here. It looks like you're working, doing something, picking stuff up. Okay, gotcha. What's the actual address then?
3333 Arapahoe.
Okay, what unit are you in?
I don't think I have to actually tell you that.
He doesn't.
Well, I'm just checking to make sure that you have a right to be here. That's all.
Because he's black and he don't belong, apparently.
That I'm working as well.
That's what the white man does, the mediocre white
I
man.
gotta verify it just so I know that you do in fact live here.
What do you need from me?
If you have an ID with your address on it, that'd be great.
Fucking unbelievable, man.
Well, we've had some stuff going on in this area. I'm just doing my job.
But I bet he hasn't stopped not one white man.
Great, and I'll be on my way. Okay. Do you have anything with your address on it?
Yo, look, man. Here, why don't you follow
Just
me
relax.
and I'll just fucking leave the building, dude.
Wait, just chill out, man.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
So, Mr. Atkinson, can I get your date of birth, please?
Why?
This is what black people go through. Now, white people, you pull up your bootstraps and stop telling black people to pull up their bootstraps. You don't go with what we go. You do not go through what we go through. So you're okay with being satisfied with the orange man sitting behind the resident desk. We're not. He want to Jim Crow black people. One moment, please. So this is, she was our mayor once before here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have a new mayor now, but let you listen to this. She's a black woman, and Donald Trump trying to stop her too. She's an educated black woman, Donnie, and you don't have the education.
It's Keisha Lance Bottoms. I don't know if you've heard the breaking news in Georgia, but Donald Trump
Hit the like button, please.
He is endorsing Burt Jones for governor of Georgia. He wants a yes man.
She's running for governor. I'm voting for her.
Tried to deny the 2020 election. The same Burt Jones who tried to steal the Atlanta airport. The same Burt Jones who supported a total abortion ban in the state of Georgia. You all know I'm running for governor because I'm going to push back against the chaos that's coming down to Washington, D.C. I've never been afraid to fight against Donald Trump. He doesn't scare me. Bullies don't scare me. Donald Trump wants a yes man in this state. And Burt Jones, he's got a do boy. But in me, Georgians will have someone who has their back, who will always
that works
fight
for the
them,
American
who will
people.
always fight for the people of this
For the
state,
Georgian
making
people.
sure that we have access to great health care, great paying jobs, that our communities are places where our businesses and our families can thrive. So I'm asking for your support. We don't need more chaos in this state. We got enough of that coming out of Washington, D.C. We don't need someone who's supported by Donald Trump. Hey, y'all, it's Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Well, Keisha Lance Bottoms, you had my vote every time you ran for mayor. And Queen, you got my vote again. I'm definitely vote for you. Because I'm fighting against the regime with you, baby. One moment.
Oh, hey! Did you know that the Holy Bible was actually pieced together by government officials in the 4th century when Emperor Constantine gathered a bunch of bishops at the Council of Nicaea, and they voted on which books got included? A lot of powerful texts were left out. Books that taught the power of your own intuition.
The white man purposely changed the Bible. The mediocre white man changed the Bible.
The divine feminine. Like the Book of Enoch, which talked about divine beings teaching humans ancient knowledge. Or the Gospel of Mary, where Magdalene was actually a priestess, a channel, who remembered her past lives and led a rebellion alongside Yeshua to awaken people from their blind faith. Or the Gospel of Thomas, which said the kingdom of God is within you, not in a temple, or a priest, or a savior. Yeah, those were nixed. Didn't fit the narrative, I guess. So they were buried. And the ones that did make the cut, yeah, they taught you that sin was a default setting, that obedience was how you entered the gates of heaven, and that the fear of God was the path to salvation, literally claiming it's okay to unalive entire populations if God tells you to take their land. Or the ones that say women should be silent, obey their husbands, or be stoned, respectfully, of course. God said it was okay. And that's what made the final cut. It gets better. You know how the Bible calls God Lord like 6,000 times, and we keep thinking it's talking about some creator God who sent his son into a blood sacrifice, when Lord was actually the title used for emperors, slave owners, and ruling class back then? It's not a book of spiritual guidance. It's political, and it was strategically manipulated to keep the power in the hands of the elite empires that still run the systems today, by the way. Super weird.
I appreciate that coming from her. Because, you know, these mediocre white men, they trying to change up everything. They want to suppress black and brown people. They want to suppress women and put us in our place. Our place is wherever we feel fit and God sent us. That's our place. Not where the white man said we shall be. We didn't overcome for nothing. One moment, please. Just a moment. How y'all doing tonight? I know it's late, and I appreciate y'all bearing with me.
Gavin Christopher Newsom just called Donald Trump a beta male. Here's the story. Donald Trump made our military get on their hands and knees to roll out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin on Friday. Donald Trump got out of Air Force One early to stand at the end of the red carpet to wait.
Like he was waiting for his boyfriend.
And he let
a little schoolgirl
onto the Beast, which is the motorcade for the President of the United States. By the way, a lot of people don't know this, but Vladimir Putin, before he became president of Russia, was KGB, the Committee for State Security of Russia. Think of it like the CIA for Russia. And their roles are multifaceted, but essentially they do foreign intelligence, domestic security, counterintelligence, and border security. They're basically fucking spies. What the fuck could possibly go wrong when a former spy, that's our biggest fucking enemy in the entire world, gets in the United States presidential limousine and potentially slips a bug in to hear every single piece of conversation that happens inside?
Donald Trump is a foreign agent.
The same limo where the president gets very sensitive briefings and information for our country's security. Then we find out the real reason why Donald Trump wanted to meet with Vladimir Putin in the fucking first place. He wanted this fucking photo op. He staged this photo with Vladimir Putin to convince his dumbass base that he was strong-arming Vladimir Putin into a deal. But the truth is, there was no deal and there was no consequence for Putin literally attacking our ally, which was Ukraine. Trump fucking failed, and guess what? California Governor Gavin Newsom took this photo and quote GCN. And Gavin said, Trump just fled the podium with Putin. No questions, nothing. Total low energy. The man looked like he'd just eaten 3 buckets of KFC with Vlad. Is he afraid the press will ask about me? America's favorite governor, and the fact that I stole the cameras this week with the maps, many people are saying he begged Putin to hold his hands. Tiny on the way out. Admit it, Donnie J, you're terrified because this week was the worst week of your life because of me, Gavin Christopher Newsom. The maps will end your presidency.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I noticed Donnie has done. His team, they got people out here lying for him, saying that he was the stronger one against Putin. When we all saw the same thing, Donnie. You're not a strong man. You're a beta male. That's exactly who you are. And your wife don't like you. And you smell bad.
President Trump, I just saw your press conference with President Putin, and it was embarrassing. I mean, he stood there like a little wet noodle, like a little fanboy. I mean, I was asking myself, when are you going to ask him for an autograph or for a selfie or something like that? I mean, you literally sold out at this press conference our intelligence community, our justice system, and worst of all, our country. You're the president of the United States. You shouldn't do that. I mean, what's the matter with you? I mean, whatever happened to the strong words or to the strength of Ronald Reagan when he stood there at the Berlin Wall and he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall? What happened to all that? President Trump.
What happened is they elected a beta male. While Putin is a strong man. One moment. Just a moment, you guys.
Kamala said Putin would eat Trump for lunch, and ate he did today. She said Putin would be sitting in Kiev right now if Trump were president. And if you paid close attention to the summit, short press conference, no questions, no real outcomes, just Trump saying it was productive. For whom? Putin? This was honestly the weirdest, shortest, most controlled summit I've ever seen. Behind closed doors, who knows what deals or promises or whatever were whispered. The optics? Terrifying. Putin was calm, Trump was not. I cannot count how many times that man thanked President Putin. We just had a preview of what happens when Putin calls the shots on national television. The American people are okay with this? History is watching, and it's terrifying to see Kamala's warning play out like a prophecy.
We all witnessed it. We all did. Jasmine Crockett is highly educated with a high IQ. Danny zipping and take your mouth off of Putin. Get your mouth off of him. You can get off your knees now, Donnie. I know them knee pads are tired.
Even know the difference in the test that he takes in an IQ test, yet he's the one that's suggesting that I need IQ tests. Not to mention, I mean, based on the fact that my daddy isn't the one that got me into my schooling, and the fact that I have a little bit more education than he does, meaning I have more earned degrees than he does, I don't have time to play games with him. And the fact that you are the sitting president of the United States, and for whatever reason, you are waking up before I'm even awake on today so that you could try to drag me on your bootleg website, like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why is it that people take him seriously? And then the bad part is that when we get 4 years from now and it's time to elect somebody, unfortunately, the entire country will look at whoever is running on the Democratic side, and they will have one bar that they use to say, you've got to meet this standard or this level, yet you allowed this fool in. Frankly, anybody can be president after him. I mean, we're talking about somebody with 34 count convictions of felonies, in addition to the fact that somebody who literally does not know how to govern or doesn't want to govern, doesn't want to do what's right. So every time you look around, he's invoking emergency powers. And frankly, if you listen to him, you would be concerned not only about his mental acuity, but you also would be concerned. I'm not concerned that he's an unintelligent man. I know he's unintelligent. That part is clear. But, like, I'm wondering also, like, is it dementia Don that we're getting?
Frontal dementia like his father.
That we're getting? Like, I don't know, but there is a problem. Like Houston, we have a problem. He doesn't even know the difference in the test that he takes in an IQ test yet.
One moment, please. Just one moment. Thank you all for staying late with me. And you can tell this man has no care at all for anybody. He's a selfish, big buffoon. Leave the homeless alone, Trump. For God push you outside and you have nowhere to go. And you be back broke again after you blew your daddy's money. I would love to see you back there.
Funded the shelters, and now they complain that there's people sleeping in the streets. They defunded the soup kitchens, and now they complain that people are begging for food. They defunded the treatment centers, and now they complain that they can see people using. They defunded the medical centers, and now they complain that they can see disabled people just trying to exist. They defunded the job centers to help people get training and to find jobs, and they complain that none of these people have any money. They defunded through whether it be DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who decided it was cheaper to let everyone just starve to death than actually help them, or through the budget that they forced through the Senate and the president signed on July 4th. Through all of these options, they've shut down mutual aid organizations, nonprofits, and others across this country. They've cut those budgets, and where have they put the money? Where is the money going
in the
now?
billionaires' hands.
The money is now being put into troop transports It's being put into FBI and DEA agents to roam the streets of Washington, D.C. It's being put into the National Guard to guard the nation from itself. We have had boots on the ground to try to tackle things like homelessness and hunger and starvation inside this country. We have soldiers who are willing and already doing the work for that. We defunded them in the choices that this Congress and this president have made. Keep that in mind as you hear them push this bullshit in every single one of their stupid little press conferences. We
keeping in mind. We're pissed. Beyond pissed. And this carpet muncher right here. Julian, stop running your D-suckers, you carpet muncher.
Anyone surfing social media this week has surely seen this clip of Jillian Michaels saying this about slavery.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans own slaves?
She don't know what the F she talking about.
Specific year in her claim on CNN, she did tweet this out later.
The hate for black women, and that comes out of her mouth, and she raising black kids.
Of American white people in 1860 didn't perpetrate slavery. But let's take a look at this claim. Because yes, as the data shows, in 1860, there were 393,975 slave owners in the United States out of a total population of 31,183,582, or just 1.26% of the population. But let's take a closer look at that. Because by taking a look at this map from 1860 of the percent of households that owned slaves at the time, we can see that slavery was no longer practiced in the North and was only practiced down here in the South. And so, yeah, if we eliminate those 18 free states and only concentrate on the remaining 15 slave states, you can see we get that same amount of slave owners that now have a population of just 12 million. That's almost 19 million off of the original number, which gets us to 3.22% of the population owning slaves. And so, yeah, if we eliminate those 18 free states and only concentrate on the remaining 15 slave states, you can see we get that same amount of slave owners that now have a population of just 12 million. That's almost 19 million off of the original number, which gets us to 3.22% of the population owning slaves. But here's another problem. If we just look at the U.S. slave states in 1860, we can see that in the slave column here, we have almost 4 million slaves. And because they can't own themselves, we got to minus them out too. And so if we remove them, we get 8.2 million with the same amount of slave owners. And now that number jumps up to 4.75% of the free population of these 15 states. But if we focus on just those 11 states that decided to secede from the United States in order to protect slavery, that percentage gets even bigger. So if we add up just the Confederate States, we get 316,632 slave owners and 5,582,222 people, meaning that now 5.67% of the free population owns slaves. But again, this 5.67 number only deals with the patriarch of a family who actually owns those slaves, not the wife and children who stood to inherit them when he died. So if we take a look at that number, we can see that 30.8% of the free families in the Confederacy owned slaves, and that number was as high as 49% in a state like Mississippi. And that's why, Jillian, it's important to teach slavery to our school children, to know how it started.
And she's raising black children, adopted black children.
I mean, there is zero evidence to say if these 11 states had beaten the North in the Civil War that they would have ever ended slavery. It was an economic advantage that they didn't want to let go of. And that's why it's no secret that when you take a look at the map of people that owned slaves in 1860 and compare it to the map of the states that decided to fight a war over slavery, and then compare it to a map of the violence that was brought against black people in the 10 years after Jim Crow laws were adopted in the South, and then compare it to a map of the segregation that existed all the way into the 1950s and the 1960s, it's clear that the same culture was committed to slave ownership decades after other American states gave it up, maintained that culture in those same states more than a century later. This is a picture from 1965 of a woman and her daughters. And that's why it's important to teach all history, Jillian, not just cherry pick certain percentages when they work for your argument. We need to teach kids everything and let them figure it out for themselves. All right, so anyone surfing...
Well, Donald Trump doesn't want the black kids to know their history, no. He wants us to believe people with the likes of Julian that's raising black children. She should have never been granted the opportunity to adopt some black children with the way that she thinks. I feel sorry for those children. I do. And there's so many beautiful white people that raise black children and do a damn good job at it. But this BICCH should not have been given any black children at all. One moment. Just a moment. Just a moment, you guys. I'm looking for something before we head up out of here. We're going to be getting out of here in just a couple of minutes. I've saved so much that it's hard for me to find what I'm looking for. Give me a moment. Just a moment. I'm looking for something to take us up out of here. And we can go to bed. Got to get some good old sleep. Hold on, y'all. So Trump steals from the black culture, yet he has no culture, just chicken with no seasoning. He's potato salad with raisins. That's who Donald Trump is.
So Trump spent $500,000 on a gold-wrapped vehicle for ICE to film a rap music video, and I'm the ghetto one. This has got to be a cosmic fucking joke. So Trump spent $500,000 on a gold-wrapped vehicle for ICE to film a rap music video, and I'm the ghetto one.
Stealing from the black culture. We created rap. We created country music. Y'all mad that Beyonce has taken over. She's the #1 country album. I went to see her in concert when she came to Atlanta, Georgia. Cowboy Carter concert was amazing. One moment, please. Donald Trump is aiming to run off the homeless and black people. This is a homeless guy. And the police trying to arrest him because he's homeless.
No, they gonna go somewhere. I ain't going nowhere now. Since I got choice and treat no shelter.
But they're going to arrest people all over.
No, I don't care what they do. I don't care what they do.
They arresting and harassing homeless people.
They say we got choice. What the pills say? What the pills say? Bill need to breach. Yeah, we standing up for something. So what the papers say? What the papers say?
Because of Trump, America's falling. But let white MAGA tell you, everything is good because Trump and them. They feel that way because it's a white man. But baby, your sink is shipping. Your ship is sinking, MAGA. Because everything he does to try to hurt black and brown people, it affects you too. But see, we know how to survive in a storm. Black people, we can survive anything. But if you're white and privileged, you're not used to the storm. And I feel no pity for your soul. You better go pray. That's what you better do. We're going to get up out of here after this.
Reason it matters that Jesus is black? Yeah, I know what you're saying. It doesn't matter. It matters, bro. We
Hit the like button before you leave.
Identity from these people. There was a race that was chosen by God, okay? When God was playing this Sims game, he chose a black character, okay? Because that most closely related and identified with his personality. He wanted to be humble. He wanted to come as a meek person. Bro, the entire Bible is a redemptive story about black people. from going from last to they're going to be first, bro. It's the entire Bible is like the redemption of a race that was being used for slavery since the beginning of time. Think about this. This is why black people are superior to white people. This is why they can run faster. They have harder heads. This is why they can jump higher. They're the chosen race of God. It's so in your face, dude. The Egyptians with the cornrow hair, and now, where are all our Egyptian people, bro? I don't have any Egyptian friends. I have never met an Egyptian, dude. It's like they just disappeared, dude. What happened to that whole race of people? It's black people, okay? When you read the Bible, the reason it doesn't make sense to you is because you're not replacing the word Jew or Hebrew with black person. Black people, you have the most sacred, beautiful position. You have the biggest shoes to fill. I am so sorry for everything. You'll all see. You'll all see when we get up there. You'll see when we get up there and Juicy J is playing, okay? You'll be like, oh, oops, crazy dude on TikTok was right. It's everywhere in history. White people whitewash history wherever we go. We take that for ourselves. Bro,
Yep, that's true.
the Egyptians had electricity, okay? The Luxor, the Black Pyramid that shoots up light into the sky. What do you think that's about, dude? They had electricity, dude. The Nile had all the elements for batteries and electricity, like the copper and the salt water and the limestone and everything. Look up the Djed Towers, dude. Anyway, Jesus is black and he's coming back.
He's definitely coming back. The aliens coming soon too. Take Donald Trump. Have y'all heard about the aliens coming? Take Donald Trump. Poof, be gone, Dunny. Go away. Take all the MAGA Republicans. Go away. Take them, Lord, please. The aliens supposed to be coming. And they say they black aliens. That came from the mouth of the white man. Black aliens. Black people is the first people on this earth. Accept it. Get over yourselves. White people come from black people. Don't get mad, get glad. Just pray you got a little melanin in you so when you're my age, you don't wrinkle. I'm 51. Never had Botox, would not get it. Never used fillers, no kind of face stuff done. You know what's on my face? Aloe vera. I put aloe vera on my face. It's better if you join us than fight against us because we're not going back. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. Good night.